Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of Surviving Life's Pickles. Today is another one of the great I Love You Bro Hour editions, and we are so excited. Thank you for taking an hour to hour and a half today to listen to us, tuning in, to be part of our lives that we want to share with you today. Thank you for letting us be a part of your life with the information and the stories and the conversations that we have prepared here for you today. So again, we are so grateful and appreciate every single one of you for taking this time out of your week, every week, to tune in with us. Today, I am joined with Reed Taylor.
What's up?
How are you?
Spiffy, man. This is my second time down in Utah County today.
Well,
I drove past you earlier.
I could say I'm sorry, but I've already been to Idaho, Tooele, and then back down here today, so I feel you. It sucks. It is.
A couple hours
Yeah.
in the truck. Good audiobook time.
You know it. Well, before we dive into what we're going to chat about, just like every episode, we're going to hit some gratitude today. Reed, I'm going to let you start us off. How you feeling? What are you grateful for today?
Obviously you got to be grateful for your family, that they, put up with you. Sometimes they shouldn't. I'm grateful for, my team at my office. There's so many things you can be grateful for. It's hard to always just pick like one between, just having life in general. I Love It Pro Project is really, I'm really grateful for them. It gives me a great space. My wife hanging in there with me as I work through whatever's going on up there. It's a big thing.
Well, it's important to be grateful for that and take the time to recognize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Today, I am really grateful that I have backtracked, slowed myself down, and recommitted myself to some of my routine that I know makes my life better.
Well, that's good. We were talking about that at the retreat.
Yeah, I've been so just go with so many different things in life over the last couple months. I'm grateful that I had the recognition. I'm really grateful for my wife to recognize it with me and help me really hold myself to those commitments. I mean, I'm now 5 days in a row doing my cold plunge hot tub exercise every day. And man, I just feel better. I started working out again. It's been the first time in a year that I worked out more than twice in a week. And so I'm grateful that I was able to realize and then take the initiative to get back on track. It's been great. I feel a lot better for that.
That's awesome. I'm working on that. That was actually one of my things that I was analyzing. Like we always talk about like how I overanalyze stuff. Crazy. And one of those in one of my things I was working on, it said I had like my wife got in an accident in my new truck, right? Jacked up my bumper. It's like, okay, got my new bumpers. And I said, I have to earn the time to go put them on.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it wasn't just the front bumper. I'm like, I'm going to get the front bumper. I did the rear bumper too. So I had to earn my own time to fix my truck that my wife got in an accident in. And I broke that down. It's like, well, that's over responsibility. Like like there's something going on there that says you don't feel that you have the ability to do something you want.
Yeah.
And it said you need to slow down. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I literally don't know how to do that.
I hear you.
And one of the things it recommended was when you get your coffee in the morning, slow down, take that initial drink and just really, think about it. And I'm over here like, so you want me to drink my coffee that I drink the same every single day and be like, how does this make me feel? I'm like, it's not going down fast enough. And you've seen me with my coffee cup. I mean, it is a 44-ounce Stanley. It's like full up, like, let's go. It's like, that thing's gone by 10. It's like, you want me to, where's my pumpkin spice latte or something?
Slow down and enjoy.
And I've been trying to do that. It's like, it's a muscle that I'm trying to flex. And it's like, oh my gosh, I get sore just thinking about like, okay, what do I got to do?
So let's move that just so you're talking into it instead of away from it. Well, look at that. That's even better. Okay.
Welcome to the podcast. By the way, thank you for the shirt. Dude, I love this shirt, man.
I need to send you that info, by the way. Remind me afterwards.
You're good, dude.
Reed, I've known you a little over a year, about a year, something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Close.
I started coming the 1st of August of last year. So yeah, roughly somewhere around there. It's the first time we met, I would think.
In PG.
Okay, so it was the very first PG, so it was October. It was
Yeah.
the first week of October. Okay, so
We're
we're
right
coming up
there.
on a year. Yeah, we're just a couple weeks away.
Oh, sorry, almost our anniversary.
It is. But I have to be honest, and this is kind of what we're going to go into today is what the I Love You Bro project has done. It has brought so many men together from all walks of life. I honestly, I don't think we would have ever met if it wasn't for the project.
Now you're in Utah County.
Yeah, I know. I'm exiled. I know. But it's amazing. It's amazing what Joe has done to be able to bring so many different men from so many different backgrounds, ethnicities, social groups, everything into this, I guess, what would you call it? I mean,
Community.
yeah, community. That's a good term. It is a new community for men. And it's a brotherhood, really, is what it's turned into. I mean, we're all here for each other.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there's only a few of the groups I have never attended. It's a little harder, now that, uh,
There's so many.
well, yeah, so many, but that I now manage a group. But even when I came to the project, I was like, I had no idea what this was.
Yeah.
Literally, I was reading a book, men's work, and we've talked about it. And it's like, find a men's support group. And I'm like, what's a men's support group?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I found it is I Googled men's support group.
There it is. Popped up.
And this Meetup app came up, and I'm like, what's Meetup? I'm not the most technological guy. It's like, I mean, I don't have TikTok. I have Facebook. I know I have an Instagram. I don't get on it, but I have them. And it's like Meetup, and I look, and it's like, all right, RSVP, free. Hey, it's free. I'll try it. And it
Yeah.
wasn't AA or CA or any of the A's.
Right.
And I went there, and it was in West Jordan. I'm like, very quiet, and left the group. Ended up getting on YouTube, just I Love You Bro project, and saw Joe's story. I'm like, all right, I got to meet this guy. And then the next night, I drove down to Provo, and so I went to West Jordan. Then I went to Provo the next night, and I mean, the way Joe makes you feel, it's one of those things that just for me, I'm not the most open guy, especially like second group, and I'm like, I don't want to talk, and he just has that look. He just looks at you. So,
Yeah.
what brought you out, man? And in that dead, awkward silence, you're like, and I've seen it now hundreds of times where you just literally, it's not quite, some guys break down. For me, I'm that emotional fortitude guy. Like, yes, I will get a tear, but I will recompose myself because I'm a man. But then I've seen that other side where, is it can't, they don't know how to manage that, uh, everything that's going on. There's so many thoughts and processes going that you literally get trapped in, that emotional breakdown. And there is a massive value because now I have expressed my emotions in a group. I have cried, but it's that stoic tear down my cheek versus, you know, Joe who can, you know, he'll break down.
Right.
But that dynamic is just so powerful.
Yeah.
It kind of blows your mind.
Well, and it's comforting, relaxing, but it can be a little scary that first time. You don't know. Like you said, you didn't know what you're getting into. It was a support group. Like, well, what is this? I guess I'm going to check it out. Most of us were kind of that way. I mean, I had an idea because I had been to a lot of the A's before, but completely different.
Yeah.
I felt like, I mean, AAs and CAs, they are fantastic. They have a great place in the world and they do wonderful things. But I felt always judged in a way in some of those, and no judgment, no judgment at all.
Oh yeah. And
And
and it wasn't even like you show up, hi, what's your name? Why are you here? It's just like, hey, how are you doing? How'd
yep,
you hear about us?
yep,
All right.
we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming. maybe hear somebody, or we have that icebreaker question, which is normally like for most group leaders, I'd say it's all right, an experience that came through the week. I like to be when I do an icebreaker, it's more off the wall. Like, okay, if you could be in a movie, what movie would it be?
And what character would you play?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like the Blues Brothers. Why? Dragnet. Okay, something weird. It's just
Yeah.
kind of to get that conversation going, because sometimes it's deep, but a lot of times, when somebody new comes in, I just like, hey, thanks for coming. How'd you hear about us? What brought you out? And then I like me, I'll let it kind of. All right, well, thanks. And then for the regular guys, like the things that we've had those conversations, like, so if we're new guys come in, like, hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming to our podcast today. You're like, all right, how'd you hear about us? Somebody said check it out. Awesome, subscribe.
Right.
And then I go, all right, so Scott, how's everything doing with that what we talked about at the men's group? Not going to go into any details with the new guys, just let you roll, and then let you know the other guys see that flow, that it's comfortable, that I'm there. I don't say, like, when Joe comes out, he's to group like, yeah, so Reed's our group leader, and I'm like, no, dude, I just go here, man. I'm just
Yep.
here. I'm just here for my
Yep.
guys
Just
out. What could I do to help you this week? What can you do to help me? So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about it. So you've been coming for like a year and a half, right?
my first group was February of 24.
Okay. So year and a half, just a little over it.
Old school.
Yeah, you were one of the OGs. So,
Oh yeah.
well, let's talk about it. I mean, we heard how you found it
Mhm.
for that last year and a half. Personally, what has the project done for you just in general? Like what things have you gained from it? What knowledge, what's happened in your life since you found
Wow, that is a
it?
loaded question.
Very loaded.
Um, I mean, there's so many ways you could break it down. Um, for me, one of the things that I get from the project most is context in my own life. Doesn't matter what I'm going through in a lot of ways. Hearing what other guys are going through, in a lot of ways, it reinforces that internal fortitude. Like, man, I'm not in this alone. I'm not struggling alone. I am not just wondering how I'm going to get through the next day, because I got my guys here that will will talk and will just get advice, and there's no pressure under it.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I mean, in the project, well, I've gone through some really, really, really rough groups, and um, there's one that still sits with me, and I don't know how much detail you don't go in, but going into that group and just hearing what another guy was struggling with the night before, like, he may have not been here
Yeah.
to come to this group. You're like, I mean, something like that just hits you, just like how much of a struggle so many of us guys are going through, and just like, how did you, like, what was that one little grain of sand that held you together?
Yeah.
And that's the roughest thing, is like, how do you get through that one day? Like, what happened? And I've had guys come in my group. I've gone to a group where it's like, I think I was going to be here today. I'm glad I'm here. I shouldn't have been driving. I'm glad I'm here. Like, I just needed this today. And it just blows your mind that just coming and just being able to get away from the Joneses. I think that's really what it is.
Yeah. Well, getting out of that social aspect, getting out of that constant go, 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 what are you doing for work? What are you doing for dinner? All these things and comparing. You just get to slow down and be you for that
Mhm.
90 minutes. You just get to be you, honest, open, vulnerable, and be heard.
I think that's one of the hardest things, for guys. And for me, what brought me to the project was, my own relationship struggles with my wife. We had some, financial issues, and there's a lot more past that goes into that. But it's like, I was really struggling with resentment. I'm like, all right, shoot, come on, man. Like, oh, and all right. That's October of 23. And so working through that, right, reading books, trying to figure out like what's going on in my mind, like why can't I just reset? I was that king of, you know, an issue. It's like, it's okay. I'm pissed off. Don't talk to me the rest of the night. Like, mm. Next day, hey babe, how you doing?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm good. But the last issue, which, and it's financial issues, is massively difficult in a relationship. I couldn't reset. It's like I couldn't blow the game. We're old enough. It's like, put it in. Oh, it's not working.
Yeah. So it really brought you that sense of you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That sense of, okay, I have people who care about me, who have been through similar stuff. I can learn from them.
And I still learn. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I've, you sit there and you get this concept of like, all right, I'm doing okay. Things are going good. And you're sitting in a group and you hit it up on this group of guys, right? All right. I'm just a, blue collar guy for the most part. Worked in construction for most of my life. I can build stuff. I can argue with lawyers now because I deal in office stuff now. But in any one group, you can have a business owner, a stay at home dad, a blue collar guy, a high level executive, a educator,
Your
yeah,
engineers.
like the gambit of just differences is really, I think, where the benefit comes in, because now you have this perspective from, literally a guy that didn't ever go to college, maybe dropped out, all the way up to somebody with a PhD. You're like, wow. And they can hit in so many different areas and experiences that really help you navigate. And even a year and a half in, like and I totally got off track there, was doing okay. And one of my guys in my group, he's like, I was looking at the disempowerment triangle and I'm like, what is this? I have never heard of this concept. And the project, like, I've got into, in order to process my emotions, I write, and I've shared some of my poems with you. I don't really share them out there, but I write. And the feedback that I've given is like, oh man, that is so powerful. Oh dude, that is awesome. You should share that. And I'm like, I don't want to. It's really hard,
Yeah.
but I'm trying. And I use a lot of AI tools to analyze what I write, to understand myself more, because hey, I may think it's good or somebody may tell me it's good, but I'm like, is it? And I got lots of good feedback. Thank you for sharing such a powerful and emotional, personal thing. And then I say, look at this through this disempowerment triangle. Totally destroyed me. Like, broke me. I'm like, oh man. And if nobody's heard of that, like, the principle of the disempowerment triangle is that there's only like three roles that we place in our life. All right. And as a dad, oh yeah, you get it. There's the aggressor or the
Hmm.
perpetrator. There's the victim, which is normally my kids. And then there's the hero, which is more normally my wife telling me, don't be so mean. Hey, calm down. I'm sitting there yelling at my kids for some, whatever. Like, dude, don't do this. Like, why did you do this? That was terrible. Being a dad. Maybe I'm too aggressive and I have that problem. I'm working on it. My wife comes, hey, calm down. Come on. And then, all right, kid walks away. She's now saved my son, who is the victim. She has been the hero. And now I get the lecture of why I was wrong. So now I am the victim and she is the perpetrator. And that circle is just, it's kind of interesting when you think about that as just in a conversation. But then when you look at your writing and you're looking at this broad scope over, right? So here's my 43 poems and my personal notes from men's work. And it breaks down this, what you're saying. It's like, it's brutal. It is emotionally devastating to think that I was doing good and then look at something from just literally 5-degree difference. You're like, oh man, it's
Well,
rough, but
well,
it's so beneficial.
yeah. Well, it's taking that perspective, and we talk about perspective so much. 5 degrees one way, 5 degrees another. It is the perspective on how you analyze and look at things that can change a lot of things for you. And one thing about the group is you do, like you were saying, we have all these different levels of guys that come, and each and every one of them are going to look at a situation with a different perspective. And to hear all of them comment or chime in on one situation that somebody shared, you get to see and hear all these perspectives from all these different guys and be able to take that in and analyze it. And then, like you say, break it down and sit with it. And know it's okay. Because guess what? We're always our hardest critic. We're the ones that are the hardest on us all the time. And so if you have all these different perspectives and they're giving you positive feedback, then you got to take that internal and say, okay, guess what? I got 15 perspectives that were positive and one that's negative, and I was negative. So I guess I gotta step back and look at it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And well, sometimes it's not even, it's not even always about something that you personally shared.
Yeah, it could be about
I
something
mean,
somebody else has
you're
shared.
living on a different struggle, and there's feedback given. You're like, huh. So there's just so many little things that in any meeting where you're like, huh, I've never heard that. I've never thought of that. I wonder what it is, because it's something, you personally never looked at, Google search, found, but they did. And then you run down that path and it just, and that perspective change just, and I mean, that's a year and a half in going to the group, and just random things out of nowhere that just like, all right, the disempowerment triangle. We were on our retreat, and I totally forgot his name. It talked about the internal family systems
Yeah, yeah.
therapy.
Therapist Lincoln Bradshaw. Yeah,
And like, I've never thought about that process before. I've never thought, all right, what am I doing? Like, how can you identify a part of you that you're trying to suppress? For me, it was always, it's my filing cabinet. And every issue that I had with, my wife financially or whatnot, it's like, okay, this is stupid. All right, we're good. She apologized. Put it away. It's kind of like,
yeah.
I love it how the wife can always remember and remind you what you did 18 months ago in the argument today. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And I never realized that I was doing that. And this last one, like, my filing cabinet got knocked over. And as I'm working through, I'm making these interconnections of like, oh, so this is a bigger issue, and it's a bigger issue, and it's a bigger issue. And
Then you find out that that one file you put away is linked to 35 others.
oh yeah, I broke it down one way, and I was to try to help my wife understand how I was trying to work through this. I'm like, I am that police investigator that has 5,000 pages on the wall, and I have a piece of yarn that spans between every single one from one point, and I'm having to take the pins out one by one. It's still there, but
Still,
it's getting better. It really is.
I have this vision, and I don't know if you've ever seen this. As you're talking about this, there's a Stephen King's novel, and it's called Dreamcatcher, and they did a movie on it a handful of years ago. Well, in that book and in that movie, the one guy hides all of these thoughts from his early childhood of this demon that's trying to get in. It's all in this filing cabinet locked in the very back, and you go in and he has this library. I envision you running around as a little kid in this library, digging through all these files to make sure that they can't find those locked ones that you've kind of put away.
No, no, absolutely. I mean, we all have things we're not proud of. Um, you know, I was forgiveness. You always want forgiveness for being dumb, right? And I was approaching this, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and one of the questions was, "Do you forgive yourself?" I'm like, I can forgive myself for most things.
Yeah.
Most things. There's things that I did when I was a teenager because I was a vindictive little turd that I cannot forgive myself for. And that's I am okay with that, because it's I consider that's one of my pivotal moments that I look back on that's helped me become the person I am today. We our past doesn't define us. Every bad experience, every stupid choice that we have ever made, and I got a lot, always has a lesson in it. And you have to find the value in that stupid decision
Yeah.
without destroying yourself. And years ago, I reached out to my buddy, not my buddy anymore, because this is a hard one. I got so mad at a friend when I was a teenager. I broke into his uncle's house where he lived, and I was just a complete jackass about it. I mean, hands down. I don't know if I can swear, but it's like I look back. I'm like, if you were my son, I would want to beat you within an inch of your life. And I think about that towards myself because I look back and judge myself so harshly on that decision, but I also was held accountable for that decision. I experienced the lovely judicial system of the state of Utah, and the value that I look back on from that. If I would not have done that, I would not have had that experience. I would not have gone through so many different things to help me become who I am today. But I still don't forgive myself for that decision because it's BS. But I reached out to my friend from high school and I apologized. I say, hey man, I shouldn't have done that. It was messed up. No response. It's okay. I totally respect it. But even just the attempt to apologize, still, that's one of those things, man. You just sit there and like, it's okay that you did it. You don't have to forgive yourself. What did you learn from it? And try to find that 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 thread.
No. You got to just take the experience and evaluate it. And it takes some of us years. I mean, I've been going through a lot of that myself, is taking those experiences and breaking them down. Okay, I did this. I don't understand why I did this, but what did I learn from it?
Mhm.
And, just taking that process. And that's one thing that the project and the groups and the workshops have been able to teach, is all these different skills. I guess that kind of brings up a question that I have for you is we have support groups, we have workshops, we have activities. Out of all of these things, can you give me two or three skills that maybe you have developed or increased by being able to go to these and learning more about yourself and other guys?
I have calmed down
Okay.
quite a bit, understanding the dynamic, hearing that so many other guys struggle with that, internal fire. That when your kid does something stupid, your wife does something stupid, people do something, you know, it's it's that principle of like somebody cut me off on the road and I honked at them and they flipped me off and so it's like, oh really? Oh, you did this to me? Oh, it's on. I'm now gonna road rage. I'm gonna get in front of you. You cascade.
So you've
And so
really,
now I can I'm not perfect at it, but now when something really bad happens, it's like, all right, I can most of the time. All right, let me think about this for a second.
Mhm.
Let me not be my father or one of my stepdads when I grew up.
Mhm.
And that's one of those things because you hear that experience in the group, like, oh, yeah, I come from a broken childhood. I come from a single father home or a single mother home, divorce. It's all there. And we have those young experiences. And a lot of that is from the groups. A lot of that is, for me personally, I would hands down recommend anybody, and I'd even say girls. Like I know, like we're talking about the "I Love You, Bro" project, but if you look at, there's a book called Men's Work. I think it's Connor uh, Bearton. I'm probably saying this right. Like there's questions in there that you ask, that it asks, and it's like, hey, do this work. Let's literally men's work,
Yeah.
and it asks you questions that when I was looking at it and in the group, I've same questions come up. I've never thought of that, and ask you questions that just made zero sense to me.
Well, I mean, kind of what I'm hearing then is one of the first things it's really taught you is learning what calm is, but really translating that into evaluate a situation and offering more patience with yourself and with others.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to kind of sum that up?
Yeah, I mean, I controlling that, the control anger. You're like, all right, that's the beast inside of every guy because we suppress so much, and when we get stressed out, it's so easy for that to pop because we're not expressing what we're going through. We're not talking to, our spouse. Our spouse is supposed to be our rock, right? We will do anything for our family. We will work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week in order to put oatmeal on the table or get, you know, make sure they have whatever they want. It doesn't matter because if we have our rock, we will stand up and we will just plow through. But when we don't feel we have our rock, when we don't feel, I'd say a lot of times it's like seen or heard, like you realize what I'm doing for you. Um, I had one of the most powerful things I can say I've heard in one of my groups. One of our guys was going through separation. All right, struggling through it, and he's talking to his wife, and he's like literally kind of like I've done that da 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 da, like knocking off the check marks, like I did that all this, and the callous response was, "I didn't ask you to." Like, oh my gosh, that destroyed him. And I sit there and I think about that for myself. I'm like, that would just like if my wife would have said that to me, I would have been broken. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I would have been, I would have been little Voldemort in the last movie under the bench crying because I just got my entire image got destroyed. And I had an experience with that actually 2 weeks ago. My boys were going at it, and I just kind of like, guys, stop now. And one of them was being a little bit more lippy, and my wife said something, and he made the comment back, just one of those like smart ass little like, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm ruining your night," and I give him the Gibbs slap in the restaurant. I got the daggers faced right at me, and my wife checked me, saying, "You shouldn't have done that." I'm like, "He shouldn't have disrespected you." That's exactly what I heard. Give it a second because I was fired up. I'm like, all right. I'm like, Liam, are you okay? I can see you have something to say. What do you want to say? And my 12-year-old looks right at me and says, "You abuse your power as my father." Wow. I mean, like, that messed me up the rest of the night, even throughout the rest of the day, and even the next day. 2 years ago, I would have been like, all right, I would just said anything. But that next night, and this is a skill from the group, working on being vulnerable with my wife, with my kids. I was like, I asked Liam the next day, "Do you really think that I abuse my power as your father?" He's like, "No." I'm like, part of me's like, "Oh, thank God." Oh, but at the same time, he said it, and it still set with me. And I expressed to him, like, that has really messed me up because my image as your father, how I see myself as, provider, protector, teacher, like I'm there for you. Like he's come to groups and to hear that I'm abusing my power was like, I mean, I wrote about it. I clearly wrote about it.
Yeah.
And I felt bad that it embarrassed him, that it embarrassed my wife. And, we had a conversation later about it, and she like, hey, she grouped all us boys together. And I was sitting in the truck. We got home, and I'm just sitting in my truck. Boys get out. She's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to loop you in, but, I wanted it just to be open how frustrated I was." I'm like, "It's okay. I understand. You know, I probably shouldn't have done it. I felt like he was disrespecting you." But still, just having to have that conversation with him after the fact was very difficult.
Yeah.
And I think that's one skill that I'd recommend any guy do because I feel like, we always get, we've seen the posters, "Hang in there, the cat." Or you try to express something that's difficult that's going on to your spouse or your friend. "Hey, man, you got this. I believe you
Right.
got it." Yeah, we do. We understand we do. We know we can get through it. We don't need somebody to tell us you got this. And that's what the project is. It's not that all right, because we've had some very personal conversation that, all right, no, man, hang in there. You just keep going. You need this. You need the guys, you know, keep going. It's more a matter of sometimes all you need is, man, that sucks. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
How can I be there for you right
Yeah.
now? I don't need to tell you what to do because sorry, we're guys. Ladies, I'm going to tell you this. You will, and you've probably seen the quotes and stuff. We could get hit with the biggest catastrophe. Like, all right, I'm losing my house. I lost my job. My wife's leaving me. Anything, and somebody can say, "Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I got this." That's it. That's it. We don't know what we're doing. We got no freaking clue. I don't know how I'm going to get us out of this, but I will. And that's sheer willpower because that's our autopilot. And sometimes when we step to that plate and we're like, oh my God, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know either, but we're going to do this together. Man, that's sometimes all we need to hear.
Yeah.
And then we're like, guess what? My battery just went from 5% to 150. Thank you. I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah. Well, and having those conversations, like that situation with your boy, having that conversation afterwards to kind of talk about it, let him know how it affected you and talk about how it affected him. We had something similar happen here in the last couple of weeks. And the situation is somebody had made the comment of controlling, okay, similar to abusing power, controlling the situation or controlling things that are going on. And my after contemplating it and thinking about it for a little bit before I responded was no, I don't feel like I'm controlling. What I feel like I'm trying to do is be a parent. And I'm trying to give all the information, X, Y, and Z reasons why I feel that this is a bad choice, X, Y reasons of why this could be a good choice, and X, Y, and Z over here of these can be the consequences of making choice A or choice B. I'm not controlling or telling you that you can or cannot do this. I'm giving you my opinion. I'm giving you my parental advice. And guess what? Now I'm going to give you the option to choose which one of these decisions you want to make. And then the consequences that come with it are the ones that you chose. And after I sat down and explained that to both of my boys about this situation we were talking about, they thought about it. And I said, you don't have to tell me. I'm going to let you guys make the decision you want to. And then just let me know what your decision is when you're ready and you've made it. And then we can talk about the consequences. The question was, well, what are the consequences? I'm like, I don't know. I guess it really just depends on the decision on what you decide to do and why. Because there's always the why. You can always choose to do something for the right reason or choose something to do it for the wrong reason. And that'll determine some consequences. And that's kind of where I left it with them. And I'll tell you what, how proud I was that a couple hours later that night, both boys said, we're choosing not to do this. And this is why. And I'm like, I'm really proud. Like, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being honest with me. And then we had the discussion of like, well, what were the consequences going to be? And so I kind of talked about what was going through my head. And then I said, look, you guys made the right decision in my eyes. I feel like you did the best thing for you at this moment. So I'm going to reward you. They didn't know this. They had no idea that they could have good consequences for making the right decision. Because I just didn't lead on. I just said there would be consequences no matter which decision they made. And that really opened up a discussion and kind of a new pipeline for us. They kind of understand that, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's talk these over. Let's not just jump in. Let's not just get mad. And we've had a couple of conversations since this has happened about just smaller things. And it has totally changed the dynamic now since we've had those of, hey, let's talk about this. Let's think about it.
Yeah, but sometimes as that dad, you do that. Like I'm kind of the same way. This is what it is. This is how it is. Make your choice. Let's see what happens. And it sucks when they make the wrong one, though. You're like,
It does, but
I'm gonna let you learn this hard lesson now. You could, and that's the hardest thing is, the kids don't realize like, hey, mom and dad, all right, we did stuff you will never know about, and that's why we catch you. But they find new ways to figure it out. But then you have that conversation with them, like, here's your choice. And you know, your instinct is, I can't let, like, don't touch the hot stove. Stop it. Stop. Grabbing their hands.
Yeah.
But then they hit that age where you're like,
They have to learn the hard way.
I, tr- I tried. I, Lord, please let them know that I tried to protect them from their own stupidity. But you do get the benefit as a parent to say, told you so,
Yeah.
a lot.
And
When they make those good decisions, you're like, man.
oh, you celebrate them 100%. But at the same time, when they make those wrong ones, it, it was always so reactive for me. And this is one skill I've definitely learned from a lot of the guys in the groups is I was always so reactive instantly. Boom, boom, boom. Now it's let's think about it before I react to the situation and then have a discussion about it. I mean, once in a while, yeah, if it's a life or death scenario, that conversation is going to change 100%.
Yeah,
Instantly.
instinct. It's like, well, this is what happened. Oh my gosh. Okay, are you okay?
Yep. Yep.
Like before the retreat, my son got in that accident. It's like,
Right.
all right, are you okay? Where are you at? I'm on my way. That's it. Get there. And like 2 years ago, before the project, my son would not have the ability to drive for a year, but like that calm dad. Like I got there. All right, I have a dash cam. I'm not going to yell at him. I need to see the dash cam. I need to see what happened. Make sure the other people are okay. What has happened? Watch the dash cam, and I see what happened. I'm like, all right, Jack, here, come, let's watch this. I'm like, do you see this? This is where you made the mistake, right here. That's it. You have to be aware, and this is driving like he's driving my old truck, and you've seen it. I mean, it's a 2001 F-350 with friggin' bumpers that Mad Max would be proud of. And he got in an accident at 40 miles per hour, and with the truck drove away. So, yes, but I was able to be extremely calm about it and say, this was your mistake, bro. This is what happened. We'll see where it goes. That's it. I love you. I'm glad you're okay. You're gonna go home with mom, and we'll talk about it later. We talked about it Sunday when I got back, and it was, I would say, like one of my proudest moments for myself. It's like that I handled what my mom, when I got in my first accident, blew me out. I mean,
Right.
I was out of the water. I got blown up 3 ways from Sunday, but that was a single mom dealing with a hellion kid,
Right.
and just like I'm like, all right, man. Ooh. But that's learning from, you're right, the prodigy, like hearing these experiences, how different struggles from different kids, different, the dynamics, and whether it's a girl or a boy, or the age, or teenager versus
Yeah.
college age kid. You're like, and you can hear that, you can see that in yourself. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing, is as a dad, you just want to like protect, make sure they make good choices, realize that you failed completely sometimes. You
Right.
have to give yourself credit, grace. You have done the best you can. The manuals don't work. What to expect when you have a teenage boy or daughter. Frustration. That is the book.
Yeah.
Frustration. And how do you handle that? There's no right way, because all the kids are different.
Yeah.
And as a father or mother, sometimes you are winging it so bad, you're right on that edge, and you have no idea what little piece is going to give you that edge to have that hard conversation with, your son about, hey, I just did this with a girl, and you're like, oh, no, no, not my little boy.
Right. Well, and that comes with, again, back to the group and the experiences, and then the diversity. So we've got guys that are older. I mean, we have grandpas.
Mhm.
We have dads, brand new dads, in their early 20s coming that have no idea what they're doing. They just open the parenting manual. They're just starting to read it. And it's so cool to be able to pass some of these lessons around and learn. Some guy says, hey, I'm struggling with this with my kids, and we're dealing with this issue. Another guy says, hey, you know what? When my kids were that age, we had something similar. And this is kind of how I handled it. And this is how I would handle it differently with things I know now. And it's awesome to have those conversations in these groups. Again, to know we're not alone, to know that everybody really does deal with the same things, just in a different perspective or a different way in a different time of their lives. We all go through them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And sometimes it's not even a matter of that they know how they would change it now. Sometimes I this situation, this is what I was dealing with, and this is how I handled it, and this is what happened.
yeah. And just
Right.
laying it out, because then you can make the choice of, guess what? He handled it this way. Maybe I'm going to handle it the same way, or maybe I'm going to handle it just a little different and see what happens.
But it's also the cascade.
Mm.
It's it's we don't remember everything that we've gone through. We don't remember this situation. We don't remember this problem or that one because it was so menial or trivial
Right.
10 years ago. But all of a sudden somebody sent me like, oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah.
This is, and it's that now you have the guy that this is what I did. Now you have the guy that, oh, yeah, took this slightly different approach. Now you get 2, 3, or 4 different perspectives on here's the issue. This is kind of what happened with me. And this is either how I succeeded, how I failed, how I think I should have handled it, because hindsight is amazing for us guys because we look at it, we're like, oh man, I totally screwed the pooch on that. And then we overanalyze, like, okay, how could I have said that? How could I have done that?
Yeah.
And we learn from our mistakes. The ladies may not think we do, but we do learn.
Sometimes it just takes years.
We may not implement, but we learn.
Yes.
We now navigate how and I know Bill Cosby is like the controversial figure, but you look at some of his comedies back from the like 70s himself, hands down, guys, we are the smartest stupid people you know. Your wife may not think you don't know how to fold laundry. You don't know how to load the dishwasher or the dishes. No, we know how to make sure that we don't get told we're doing it wrong. By doing it wrong so many times, you give up on telling us to do it. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like that's, but we listen and we try. We have habits are so difficult to break. That's another good book. Like I think I've heard 4 or 5 different guys recommend Atomic Habits in the group.
Yeah. It's a
And
great
I've
book.
read it, I think 2, 3 times, and it's like, all right, that's part of the group for me. It is a habit to go and be present in that group and, turn my phone off and not worry about my notifications and just be there in that
Yeah.
moment with, a guy that could be going through a new separation, struggling with work, with, um, there's so many things. I mean, I think, for most of the time, what brings guys to the groups, I'd say, it's relationship issues, it,
Financial issues.
it, financial jobs, just, kind of being isolated. Like, I don't have anybody. Like, I played football for years, and it's like, when you stop playing football, it's like, where's my guys?
Yeah.
Where's my bros?
Yeah.
I rode motorcycles very aggressively for years. Now I work so much that I don't really do that. I haven't even rode my bike this year. I went to an event and like, hey, have you rid much this year? I'm like, I know where my bike is.
Well, it comes down to Alex that came to the retreat with us. As he was talking, and we talked on his episode here a few ago about how most of his friends over the last 20-25 years have been coworkers or customers. That was his friends. And when you change jobs, guess what? All those friends are gone. And that's one thing that I Love You Bro has done for so many guys, is gave them that friendship, that brotherhood, that community, as we were talking when we started out, of guys that they can call, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm kind of struggling. Any chance you can hang out? Or people to reach out to and have a conversation with, or even people to reach out to just to say hello,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't have that. I mean, I will use Bill. I love Bill. We all know Bill. Bill is an OG. He's one of the original guys. He has been a supporter since day one. Bill's older, and falls right in that category. Didn't have a lot of friends. Now he's got his little group, 3, 4 guys, and they come to group every week together. Those are his buddies. They hang out, they do stuff, it's grown. And now he has these friendships that have just thriving because he was brave enough to step out and say, hey, you know what? I need to try something for myself. I'm going to go check this out.
Mhm. And that's one thing, like, I need to be better at, like, being just creating time to do that. Like, it that's my hardest thing is, like, we just had a workshop on Saturday,
Yeah.
and I got the text, "Hey, man, here's what it is. Here's guys. There's this. Join us at workshop." And I'm like, "I'll be at work,"
Yeah.
you know? And it's not that I need to have that second job, but I'm also a very extroverted person. My wife is an introvert. I love working at the Texas Roadhouse because I have this little sense of community there. Like, I show up and they're like, "Hey, Reed, how you doing?" And it's fun for me. I have customers that come in and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, every weekend, I see him. We chit chat for 2 minutes. That's my outside of the project. That's my avenue most of the
Yeah.
time. And it's that it is that Joe likes to say, you have your friends, you have your 2 a.m. friends. And I can say that me and Joe, and I can show the receipts, we have exchanged texts at 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. I have told guys that have my number, you can call me anytime. Like, if I don't answer the first time, call me right back. I will answer. My phone is, I'm none of those two guys. My phone is right here. I have customers call me at 1 in the morning because of something. Water. There's a problem with water. They want to let you know. And we'll address it. But when you're struggling, that's one of those hard things. Like, if you're struggling with something, don't be afraid to call someone.
Yeah.
All right. If you're struggling, so bad that you're like, all right, it's not worth it. Like, I shouldn't be here. All right. Yeah. You can call 988. You could also, if you're part of the project, even if you're not part of the project, but you have one of our numbers, give us a call, man. We will be there for you. We will listen. We will sit there. I mean, I had one experience where guy was struggling, stepped out of he left the group. I stepped out with him. I got home, and this was like 8:30. I got home that night, 1 a.m. And but we just literally talked and listened. And last time I checked in on him, he was doing okay.
Well, that's
But
one of those moments.
yeah, it's don't be afraid to call.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can call your mom, your brother, your sister. All right, they may give you some hard truths, but when you're in that midst of just real struggle, realize you are not alone. Realize you can call for help. You do not have to be ashamed that you're struggling. And that is one of the things that I think so many guys, and I would say myself, struggled with. Just you end up getting that isolated. You're like, nobody understands.
Um,
It's that logical fallacy of like, well, nobody's walked in my shoes, so they don't really understand what I'm going through. They don't understand the difficulty of navigating this and this and this and this. They don't know the pressure I'm under. And sometimes here's the really crappy part. And if any wives are listening, when your husband comes to you, give him a hug and just say, how can I be here for you? Don't tell us you got this. I believe in you. We know that. We need that safe space literally for a second just to drop our walls because we're doing it for you.
yeah.
And that's sometimes when we don't get that, that's when we really start to crack. That's when we really start to cascade. Because now in our worst moments, we feel like we weren't heard.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, I mean, me and my wife have very open conversations now. We had our time, we didn't. But just like you're saying, and I just want to name off a few of these phrases that are crucial that somebody, spouse, friend, whoever can say when somebody's in that moment. When somebody says, hey, I'm really going through this and I'm struggling with this situation. Like you said, one of the best things you can do for them is wrap your arms around and give them a hug. That physical connection, that release of oxytocin together is huge. Step one. That's one of the best things you can do. Next thing you can do is just say, I understand. Another one, and this is one of my favorites that she says to me all the time. How can I support you through this? That phrase right there is very powerful in itself because it tells you so many different things. It tells you they care. It tells you they're going to stand with you throughout the situation, no matter what it is. And they're there to help you how you need. They're not going to say, let me do this for you. They're just, what do you need? And sometimes it is really just the foundation of the I Love You Bro project of saying, I love you. Those 3 words sometimes is all somebody needs to say. And we just had Jessica Ferguson on the show from the Frankie and Jess show.
Jess is great.
Jess is amazing. We love her. She is on the board of the I Love You Bro project.
Mm-hmm.
And what she's doing with us is amazing. And her attitude and her energy is great. But the best thing about Jess, and I told her this when she was here, is that she exudes love. Jess is love at its purest form. She just really loves everybody. You can hear it in her voice. You can see it the way she acts. And she just cares. And that's why she's part of the I Love You Bro project, because she has that love for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And she's really just helping encourage people to be more like her by not encouraging them, by just being here to support us, being part of it, and being present when we need her. And I have to give her a big shout out because she inspires me all the time with the amount of love and compassion and things that she just puts out in the community, that she shares with us with the project. Because she does bring that extra energy of, I love you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you get around her. I mean, she's always smiling.
Always.
Always. Yeah.
Always.
You walk up, you're like, hey, Jess, you will get the smile. You're like, I just said hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I listened to her and Frankie forever when they were
Right.
at, 97.1.
97.1, 94.9, all the above.
And,
the people we don't talk about anymore that fired them for no reason.
iHeartMedia really knows everything.
iHeartMedia actually doesn't stand for iHeart.
No, they stand for ratings.
But anyway, yeah.
No, like, you hear, the events that they did when, back in the day, and I'm old, and to what they do now. I mean, their podcast is friggin' amazing. I mean, like, the most random conversations, though, are sometimes the best between those two. They just bounce off, and you're like, they're so engaged in the topics and the guests. It's like, man, you have to listen to them. I mean, she comes to the events, she's part of the,
she's a huge part of it.
Yeah,
but we talked about it when she was here. I mean, the subject we talked about was love, because she really inspired me, and we talked about it. But we always go back to that very first moment with Joe on the bridge. None of us were there. Absolutely none of us. But I would tell you, I think every single person who has met Joe, every single person that has been to a project, event, group, workshop, activity, anything, they can feel what was there that day on that bridge. They can feel. I mean, Joe, he'll tell you himself, and he said it 1,000 times when he's told the story. I had no idea what I was doing. The only thing that came out of my mouth was, I love you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 words saved a guy's life that day. So as we're kind of getting close to the end here, I just think it's very important to think about that. Think about how powerful just a few phrases can be to somebody. A few words, as simple as, I love you. How can I support you? I'm here for you. Or a simple hug, or even a smile and a wink sometimes is all you need. And I have to tell you, Reed, on that note, so as we're kind of going through, I wanted to talk about a retreat for a few minutes. We had Alex on a couple of weeks ago and kind of dove into a lot of the nuts and bolts of the retreat, things we did. You were a huge part of the retreat. And I just can't tell you enough. Thank you for everything you did You made it so enjoyable. You made the food, which was absolutely amazing. We wouldn't have ate so good if it wasn't for you. But Alex brought his two boys out.
Mhm.
And that was one thing that they could not and still cannot stop talking about is how happy you were the whole time. You were just in a good mood. You were just happy. Even if you would smile, you would give them that goofy wink. And I've heard that multiple times from of Ree would just give me that look, that wink, and I just know he cared. And I'll tell you what, that meant more to those boys that weekend than you'll ever know. And a lot of it you just didn't have to say. You were present. You were there. And kind of like we're talking, it's being there in the moment and just showing somebody somehow, some way.
Yeah, Alex's kids were great. I mean, like, well, how do you do this? It's like, well, how do you clean this? How do you clean? It's like, all right, hey, dude, this is Dutch oven. It's like the Dutch oven is like the greatest thing ever. I'm sorry for all the Teflon fans and whatnot. I'm like, buy yourself a Dutch oven pan, cast iron. You will love it. It takes a minute, but it's like showing them like serious. They're like, look, this is well. What do you do with this? It's like heat it up, still well, da da da. All right, you're done. Let's cook.
Yeah.
Throw a little oil on. They're like, really? And like just showing like you share that little skill. It's like, wow, this is awesome. And Alex like, man, we need to get more cast. Yes, you do.
Yeah. But it was simple acts of kindness. And for you, you weren't doing it really out of kindness. You were just doing it because of you. You were just there. Hey, this guy asked me a question. Let me show him how to do something.
Dude, it was a blast, man.
We had so much fun. I mean, other than the windstorm. I mean, the windstorm was definitely had its own purpose during the retreat. Don't get me wrong. We weathered that storm. We made it through it. Then we cleaned out sand of everything for the next 2 weeks. When you pulled in the driveway, I don't know if you've seen the sand pile in the road, but that came off the trailer when we pulled in.
When I cleaned out my bag, my boys and my wife were laughing because I'm pulling stuff out and there's sand coming out.
Yep.
Pull out, I like empty stuff out of my pockets. There's sand
And
falling out. I mean, real quick though, I wanted to hit some words. And this came from the West Jordan group. And in a relationship, when you're struggling personally with your relationship, and like looking at your wife or your partner, asking yourself or even them, how can I show you that I love? How can I show that I love you today?
yeah.
Like, and that's a hard one sometimes, especially when you're not happy.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the women a couple weeks ago had their I Love You Sis workshop, and it was on love languages. We've all heard love languages. Most of us have read something on them.
Gary Chapman.
Yep. And one thing that they taught in that is that love languages are not always the same. We change, we evolve into different types of love languages. So that question right there sometimes can be huge because guess what? You might not want an act of service when you're suffering from this. You want a hug. Or you might want an act of service when you're super stressed instead of a hug because it takes that stress off because they help you out with something. So that's a big one. And I've really never thought about ask, how can I show you I love you today? That's great.
Or how can I show you don't always have to ask that other person.
Yeah.
Because I'll be the first to say, when you ask a direct question like that, you will get deer in the headlights. I am king of deer in the headlights. It's like, I think this goes back to that men work. What did your dad tell you it meant to be a man? My dad never said that. He never told nothing. There's no what, but it's like, how can I show her that I love her today?
Yeah.
Or, your partner, it doesn't matter. It's like, how can I just put that out there?
There.
And, I'm a huge acts of service guy. I will hands down, that's me. That's not my wife's.
Yeah.
But I see hers all the time and in the house and this, that, and the other. Hers are physical touch, words of affirmation. I am also not good at those. Because as I said, I know right where my lane is.
Yeah. Well, asking that question. But as you were saying that, Let's take it back a step. Sometimes you have to stop
Mm-hmm.
and do what we called the mirror exercise on the retreat.
Yep.
Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how can I show you I love you today?
Yeah, I remember it's like take your phone out, and that was one of those things. Like take your phone out and look at yourself, and what do you see? I'm the Joker, right?
Mm,
I'm the guy. Like, what do you see? Who's this old guy looking at me?
right?
Gosh, man,
Right?
like man, he's old. But then you sit there and you look and you're really analyzing, like, and you think about it. You're like, sometimes you don't have a great answer. It's like, um, I'm
Sometimes asking that question of yourself is hard, but that comes with, we talked about vulnerability with other men, but it's got to start with vulnerability with yourself. You got to be able to ask those same questions of yourself that you're going to ask somebody else.
oh yeah,
And it's
and
hard.
it really is. I mean, we always and we were talking earlier about this, AI tools and writing and whatnot. It's really easy. AI, if you use AI, it likes to make you happy. What do you think of this? Well, this is great. You put a lot of effort into this. Da da da. Always ask it the opposite. I'm just going to be the first one to tell you what's bad.
About this. Yeah.
What is bad about this? Because you don't always want to get trapped in
That
that
continuous
that
happy circle.
that self-validation.
Yeah.
We need to face that adversity. We're good at facing adversity. We're good at running away
Mhm.
from the stuff we don't want to think about. And that's kind of why my problem with my wife has gone on so long is I created intentional barriers. It's like I don't want to think about this. I don't want to think about how this makes me feel. This makes me feel bad. So, you know what? I need to work on the house. I need
Yeah.
to get up and I need to fix the roof, or I have to deal with this problem over here, or all of a sudden my work is a lot more busy and stressful. You find these excuses to not face yourself because yourself is the worst thing. You could think that your wife is coming at you, your friends, work, like everything's coming down at you, and you can face all this external stuff and you're like, I got this. But when you look inside and you're like, who am I? Every doubt, every fear, all those demons that you've tried to keep at bay, they just cram up. And I face them still, and I'm not great at it. Like, my wife will look at me and she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, just thinking. And that's all it is. It's like
Mhm.
the gears are turning, the smoke's going, and I'm just trying to, manage that, the emotional overload sometimes.
Well, like we talked out at the retreat, it's taking the time to understand that part of you that thinks about it, that demon part of you that's causing your thoughts this way, and understanding why, breaking it down. It's really, really hard. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you say it's one of the hardest things, and it just takes time to learn. And I guess the biggest thing is with the I Love You Bro project, don't be scared just to come and sit.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to try something new. Reach out, learn. It's okay. And we all grow, we all learn. And as we're coping, as we're growing to old men, learn from others.
Oh yeah. Share your experience. I mean, and that's for me, it's like there's so much context.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the things that I love most about the project is that context in myself from others.
Yeah. And getting that reflection so you can have those conversations with yourself because now you've heard it from other people. And now it's easier to kind of dissect that yourself and learn more about yourself because now you've seen others kind of go through it.
Hmm.
So, well, as we're wrapping up, Reed, really quick, if you could throw out there two things for anybody listening of reasons why they should at least check out the project, what would it be? And this could be let's turn it two reasons. One, why they should check it out, and two, why a spouse or somebody else should recommend somebody to come out to it. in your opinion?
Man, reasons. That's a good word. Reasons or results. Okay? Results may vary, but two reasons. First of all, I love the challenge. What do you have to lose? All right? Coming and sitting with some guys you've never met before that could be all first timers, been in that group before.
Right.
Like, and it starts and it's this cascade of experience. It's this cascade of, wow, I am not alone. You have absolutely nothing to lose by coming out to any of our groups. And we're expanding like crazy. And just being there at a place that you can share things that you may feel you cannot share anywhere else. God love Facebook, but man, it makes it hard. You know, man, I wish I had their lawn. I wish I had now Facebook. Why are they always so happy?
Yeah.
I have to live this life. I have to be here, 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 here. But you can step out of your reality and sit down and just be like, man, I'm struggling. Life's rough. I don't know how I'm going to do this or that. My life, it doesn't matter. Just come and, as you said, sit and listen. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
But you can listen and gain context. The next thing, why should a spouse or a friend recommend it? Okay. We're losing our community. All right. We're losing that personal touch. Like you and me were talking, like we would have never met if it wasn't for the project.
Right.
Not just because of geographics. I mean, we don't work in the same fields, nothing. But we have a great friendship now. We talk. We're like, hey, man, how's it going? What's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was talking to Clint from West Jordan today. I'm taking my truck over to his shop to have some work done on it. But called him up just to schedule that. We were on the phone for 45 minutes just talking about what's going on. How you doing? What?
And before, you would have not even really known. You'd just gone to a shop, hand him keys and say, fix it.
Yeah.
Or you would have never even walked in there.
Oh, dude.
So
his shop is not close to my house.
Yes. But again, you have that friendship. You trust. You have that trust.
Oh, yeah. But it's like to call this setup. Hey, man, I got this. It came in. Originally had a schedule for Thursday. Now it's going in tomorrow. But just that call to set it up within a 45-minute conversation of how are you doing? What's going on? Being there for him because that's where I started.
Right.
And, I miss Clint. Like, dude, I love Clint. He is a fantastic dude. And he has gone through some stuff, man. But being able to give him that opportunity to let somebody else hear, because, that's one of the harder parts. I will say this. As a group leader, one of the hardest things when you step from just going to group to being a group leader, group facilitator, the guy that shows up, is you end up, in some ways, you suppress what you're going through to be there for the other guys. Like, what's going on? And that was something that took me like 4 or 5 months to really understand. And so thinking about it from that aspect, when I was talking to Clint, I'm like, how can I be here for you? Because that's a different aspect.
Yeah.
And great conversation. I'm excited to see him tomorrow when I drop my truck off in the morning. Like, just come out, man. Just, there's nothing to lose.
Right.
And you know what? I'll say this, the group, sometimes it's not for everybody. The dynamic, if you go to one group, I will say this hands down. Every group has a different chemistry. All right. It's like you go down to BYU, UVU. We shouldn't talk about that one right now. But it's that different dynamic. It's that, there's a different culture.
100%.
In like between the Utah County groups, Salt Lake County groups. Now we have
Davis County groups.
We have Davis County. We'll have Tooele starting up here soon.
They're all different. And it's, I tell all the guys, especially the first timers, like, hey, we're glad you came. We're excited to have you here. If you feel like this might not be a good fit, but you still need something, here's the other groups. And I'm upfront with them about that, as try one until you find the right fit. I tell everybody the same thing about therapists. Try one until you find the one that fits you. You have to have the energy, and you might not get it on your first try. You might not get it on your second try, but guess what? We now have 9 weekly support groups, 9 every week, soon to be 12 by the end of the year. That's a lot of choices.
Dude, when I started, we had 2.
Yeah.
And right, that shows the demand, like, I mean, that's a crazy thing, you know, you think about this, all right, this little, this little support group that isn't, you know, backed by any national company or anything like that. It's just literally local guys
Yep.
that show up and like, man, this is important, and it's expanding like that. I mean, 2 groups in February of 23
Yeah.
or 20, yeah, no, 24.
Well, and it goes
And
back to
it's like,
as we started. You and me have known each other since October of last year, which is really about the time this episode comes out. And there's 4. That was the 4th group.
mhm.
And in a year, we've gone to 9. And right after this airs, the 10th one opens up. So it's crazy how fast it's growing. It's doubled every single year. So this time next year, Reed, we're going to have 24 groups if we stay on this pace.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
And that's the thing, like, it's all volunteer.
It is. We're all just here to help each other. Nobody's here for a paycheck. Nobody's here for any, behind the scenes reasons. We're all just showing up for each other.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's the biggest message to get out is we're just a bunch of guys getting together, showing up for each other, and building a community to surround ourselves by like-minded people. And when I say like-minded people, I mean men in the real world. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, and sometimes it's just men trying to figure it out. It's like,
100%.
I mean, I look at it as, you know, in a lot of ways, it's like, your football team, stupid sports analogy, but it works and it's growing because everybody is putting in the work.
Right.
That's it. It's not that, I'm some great guy. It's not that I know this because, well, I read this one book and it says this.
Right.
It's just that we're just showing up
Yeah. We're just showing
for
up.
one another.
We're having a good time. We're supporting each other. And you know what? We're giving each other hugs.
And it's not always about the shit.
No.
It's not always that, not all groups are about everybody struggling. Like,
Ooh.
I've had groups where it's like we're having great weeks and everybody's doing good. It's like, what's your favorite video game?
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay.
We've had a couple groups, and we'll kind of end on this. I've had a couple groups where literally we have done nothing but just laugh about stupid things we've done and learn from them, not learn from them, and just had conversations. Guess what happened to me this week? Or guess what I did? And just had that time to just let the walls down and just laugh and just be a guy with guys. And we always joke because we are in Utah County. The joke is about with my group is we're a bunch of guys getting together for drinks without the drinks. And we're just having a good time. Sometimes, yeah, we have a guy that's struggling and we're going to help him. Sometimes we have these fun, just, hey, I did this, or hey, I did this, or guess what? I did this to my truck this week, or guess what? I did, I helped my kids do this. We have a lot of fun and it's great. So as we're kind of ending this out, my recommendation to everybody is I know one person that is listening to this today knows one person they can share this with. But on that note, every single person that has tuned in today that has taken the time to listen to us knows somebody they can share this with, knows somebody that they can tell about the I Love You Bro project, or somebody they can tell about the I Love You Sis workshops. Every single one of us knows somebody that could benefit from this, or knows somebody that could share great experiences with somebody who needs to hear them. So the easiest way is hop on social media, look up I Love You Bro project, and every week Joe posts where the groups are, addresses, times they are, how to get them. You can also hop on the website. Information's there. We have events coming up. This is going to air after, but we do have our car show this week, which is another fundraiser we do. So that's coming up. And we have workshops through the rest of the winter, and it's going to be fantastic. So, guys, we're here for you. Women, we're here for your guys. Women, we're here for you to learn skills to help your guys at the workshops. We're building a community, and with everything going on in the world right now and all the craziness with the big local news story that has happened here, it's about community. And everybody talks about change, and everybody talks about how we can be better. The biggest thing is just be there for each other.
Yeah.
Show everybody you love them. Show up, connect, and try to be part of something bigger than yourself. Other than that, Reed, I ended the show, every show, with letting you ask me a question. What is it going to be today for you?
Oh, man.
And we've had some good conversations, so
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what this question is.
Oh, man. You see, the question I would ask Scott.
No, I'm not going to have a sex change. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I mean, we all had that one Halloween costume, right?
I had multiple of those Halloween costumes. Just ask my wife.
I mean, I think if I was to ask you one question, what is your next goal in the next 90 days or before Christmas?
Oh, boy. So, yeah, it's about 90 days.
Yeah, this is right there.
It is right there.
Also, he mentioned talking about stuff that's funny. You got to look at YouTube when he gets covered in pickles.
That is fun.
That video is epic, but if you're watching the podcast, you probably saw it at the beginning too.
Yes, yes.
I remember he told us that story.
The next 90 days, what do I want to accomplish? Well, just recently, I was able to give my very first keynote speech at a mental health conference for construction workers. I have 3 more coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, dude.
But my goal in the next 90 days is to really spread the awareness, specifically in the construction and mining industry here in Utah, because we have a very high mental health problem and suicide rate in those industries particularly. But that's my goal in the next 90 days, is to really spread more awareness by getting in front of people and telling them my story and my ideas on how we can start to improve. Now, how to fix it, but how we can start to improve and look at it. That's my goal, is to really bring that out into the open.
Dude, that's awesome. And guys, don't worry about mental health. Like, you hear mental health, you hear like those terms.
Mental health can be a great thing.
Yeah.
So
it's like mental health sometimes is hopping on your motorcycle and going for a ride.
Absolutely.
Or going for a walk. There's so many different avenues that actually you don't realize you're doing that help you.
Yeah.
This is like the I Love You Bro project is just a piece.
It's not the solution for everything.
Oh, no.
It is a piece that helps you reach your goals, helps you be a better person, helps you build that community. And on that, Reed, thank you for coming. This has been awesome. It's always fun when we get together.
I'm excited for next year's retreat. We're already planning it. We don't know what we're doing, but we're already figuring it out.
Well, we'll talk about that later. I got some great ideas. But everybody, thank you again for tuning in today, for taking the time out of your busy life to listen to the conversations and the information we have to share. We appreciate it. The best thing you can do for us to support us is tell somebody about it. Share it with somebody. And the best thing you can do for the I Love You Bro project is to tell them about the I Love You Bro project. Let them know it exists. There's so many people that just don't know it exists yet, or still. So get out there. That's my challenge to everybody listening to this, is tell one person in your life this week about the I Love You Bro project and share this podcast episode with another person. And on that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. Reed, thank you for coming down again.
Anytime, brother.
And as Jess told me, every one of these episodes should end with, don't ever forget, you guys, every one of you, you're a big deal. Thank you.